Gents, a big game at the weekend. Saw Arsenal take on Brighton. Igal, your boys stepped up. They got the 3 points. They went back top of the league. And I still look back at it and think the 2-0 scoreline massively absolutely flattered Brighton, because you should have battered them by more goals. But you got the win. Kai Havertz with another clutch goal, got the winner, gave you the 3 points. How impressed were you with Arsenal yesterday as they went back clear at the top of the league?
I just want to remind people, where's Will Stewart and what do you call it? LB's prediction from last show where they said we're going to lose 2-1. We dominated Brighton unlike any other team have done in, like, I don't know how, since De Zerbi has joined. Yes, we didn't score 4 or 5 goals, like Terry said. The scoreline did flatter them, but the overall performance was so controlled. From minute one, we bossed them. We were putting up pressure on them the whole time. We were knocking on the door. And once we got that Gabriel Jesus goal, I did not feel any level of pressure from Brighton, besides maybe that one chance that they had from Pedro. The rest of the game was all Arsenal. We need to finish our dinner. The first half, we could have had 3 goals. Same story against Villa, same story against other teams. We need to be more clinical. But guess what? This game showed that we can create a plethora of chances. And at home, it's been somewhat of a fortress. We haven't lost a game at home this season. So I'm loving that. Let's keep that going. Kai Havertz, it's great to see him have an all-around performance. 1 misplaced pass the whole game. Pass accuracy of 97%. Forget about the goal. He was also creating chances the last couple of games. This game, he gets in the right place, scores the goal, and it's just going to show that his confidence has improved. He's doing this from the midfield, not in the striker position. So everyone who's saying, oh, he was never going to work in the midfield, it's looking like it's working, and he's one of those keys to help us unlock these low blocks. Gabriel Jesus, a lot of people get at Gabriel Jesus for not being clinical, but at home, since he's been at the Emirates, games that he's started, he's had 14 goal involvements in 15 games at home. So that just goes to show you what he's capable of doing when he's confident, when he's doing well. And I love the overall performance from the team. I just need to see more from the likes of Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, who are the guys who continuously got us out of problems last year. They're the ones that are not finishing their dinner right now. Although Bukayo Saka is still creating chances, we're leaving too much on the plate. There was a beautiful pass from Martin Odegaard for the outside of his foot to Bukayo Saka, cut back to Martinelli, wide open, blazed it over the bar. And I'm like, that's the story of the whole game. Even go back to the Aston Villa game, same thing that we did. We need to do better there. But overall, happy with the performance. Declan Rice, once again, unbelievable. Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes introduced themselves to Brighton and De Zerbi, first team to keep them away from scoring in 32 games. They've scored 32 games consecutively, and Arsenal kept them from scoring. And you know what? Another clean sheet. David Raya only joined us after 3 games and is already 1 clean sheet away from being top of the charts. Overall, impressive performance, and we're back at top of the league, and I don't plan on letting it go anytime soon.
I want to ask Mo this question for the rest of the panel as well. Arsenal have been criticised a lot this year for maybe not being as entertaining as last year, but they sit top again. They have a big gap big enough gap over the current favourite, still Manchester City. The football is starting to improve in terms of an attacking point of view. Their signings from the summer, Kai Havertz starting to contribute. We all know how good Rice has been. Are they becoming the favourites for the title in your opinion, or are you still not convinced by this Arsenal team?
I'm very convinced.
I need to hear from him first.
I'm very convinced. Like, to be honest with you, I think Arsenal, I've been saying that once we see the front 3 play together, I think we'll see the real Arsenal. Arsenal made Brighton look mediocre as a team, which is, I said before the game, playing at home, Arsenal, I was doing shows with other people, and I told them that Arsenal will make Brighton look mediocre at home. And they did, to be honest. The score flattered them. This Arsenal team still are not as convincing as the team from last year, but nor are Liverpool, nor Man City. So I think Arsenal at the moment, yes, Liverpool have been the most consistent, but Arsenal for me are absolutely doing the job that needs to be done. 5 points out of City isn't easy at this point of the season. They are doing good. Credit to Mikel Arteta for making it work with Kai Havertz. So I still don't think he's great. Yes, he's scoring a goal here and there, but I don't think he's great. He doesn't contribute as much as a midfielder should contribute. This is my opinion. People are not going to change it. Okay. Do you want me to tell you what I want from him? Go
Yes.
check his stats and go check his actions in the game. As a midfielder, and this is what I mean, if you're touching the ball as a midfielder, the least of all the outfield players, I'm going to say your manager is making it work with you. But he isn't involved. Like in the touches, if you're touching more than a striker as a midfielder, I'm going to say the manager is making it work. He's using your attributes to the best of the team because at the moment you're winning. But I think you can do better. In my opinion, a left 8 can do better for Arsenal. Go check the stats of Kai Havertz overall over the season. Go check the stats in this game specifically, the number of passes, the number of touches, right? He had 2
He had a
interceptions.
total of 30 touches, and he completed 29 of them.
Less than anyone else from Arsenal. That's my point, Igal. I'm not saying that Havertz is bad, but the way the Arsenal fans are praising Kai Havertz, right, is that he's doing an amazing job. In my opinion, all the team are doing a good job. Kai Havertz is doing his job. And that's about it. He isn't exceptional.
That's fair analysis.
That's it. Exactly. But I'm getting Arsenal fans saying, look, our 65 million is starting. He would start for the majority of the midfielders in the midfields in the league. I've had Arsenal fans tell me that. And if you are convinced...
Can I tell you one thing?
Go ahead.
Similar to how they were talking about Szoboszlai earlier being more than just an attacking player, guess what? He impacts the game with his runs, let alone passing and receiving the ball. It's not about it's not about getting the ball 50 times, touching the ball 60 times, impacting the game. He really impacts the game a lot more with his movement off the ball and his defensive
I don't think
attributes.
so. I don't see that. I really don't. I see Odegaard dropping team, helping Declan Rice. I see Declan Rice playing out of his skin on and off the ball. I see Martinelli being affected by Kai Havertz playing the left 8. Yes,
I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that you are assigning what sort of like typical midfielder, what you expect of a typical midfielder to Kai Havertz. And I don't think that's fair because I don't think he's being used in that way. He's very much a second striker for a lot of these
I said that many times.
Games.
Yes.
So I don't think it's fair to bring up like, his touches and whether he can influence play from deep like Odegaard or whatever, because that doesn't have to be what he does. Because as I say, he's being used more how I want Alvarez to be used actually as a second striker.
Here is my problem, Nobbins. I think Odegaard is dropping deeper what he did last year. I think Martinelli is being affected in his game, in my opinion. That's what I'm watching. When I'm watching Arsenal, I think Kai Havertz is playing well. Credit to Arteta, playing okay. He's part of a machine that is working at the moment and doing his job. He's getting a goal here and there.
On that quickly?
Yes, please.
Martinelli is missing his own dinner on a regular basis. It's not Kai Havertz's fault. Number 2, Martin Odegaard. Sorry, I meant Martinelli. On Martin Odegaard's case, Martin Odegaard, before we even had Kai Havertz, we let Granit Xhaka be a lot higher up the pitch at the back end of last season, and Martin Odegaard's job was to help Thomas Partey link the attack in the midfield. So it's not a change in the way we play, it's just a change in personnel, which makes it more visible in how we're playing.
I believe that Martin Odegaard is dropping now between the center backs for next to Declan Rice.
He did that before last season.
Maybe we didn't see it. Maybe you were more front-footed in the last season. But what I'm watching is I still believe Arsenal are going to be a better team if they get a left 8 better than Kai Havertz. Unless it keeps working for you and you keep sacrificing some other stuff in the game and then Kai Havertz is shoehorned there. That's my belief. Arsenal fans want to die on this hill. It's up to you. Listen, this is my analysis.
I don't disagree with
debating me. I believe and box-to-box 8 will help Arsenal more than Kai Havertz in that position. He can be used as a second striker. Absolutely. He can be used as another option. Absolutely.
No, you want to know something?
For you to sit here and tell me that Kai Havertz is a left 8 that is doing great, do you believe he's doing great? Or you believe he's doing a job and it's working around him?
I think he's on red-hot form with goal scoring and his contributions throughout the 90 minutes. Over the last 7 games, he's been outstanding. And we're seeing a massive improvement from Kai Havertz. But at the same time, we still need more midfield squad depth. We have a guy in Thomas Partey who's been injured for a large portion of the season. And in one of our biggest games this season against Man City, he played a pivotal part in playing the pass to get us the win. So we do need more midfield depth. because we might be light in that area. But I don't think it's necessarily, oh, we need a better midfielder than Kai Havertz. I just still think this team can still get better by making additions. It's not about oh, getting somebody to be necessarily the replacement for Kai Havertz, because I think Kai Havertz plays such an important role in unlocking teams like the Brightons, like the Brentfords, like these teams that are going to be slightly more defensive out of possession, but have the ability to hurt you if you don't finish your dinner. And Kai Havertz just gives us another body on the field that can score goals and another option. Because you guys keep telling us our attack, we need a striker. Guess what? If we're getting goals from all over the place, we don't necessarily need that 20 goal a season striker. So
I'm going to ask you one question and I'm going to end my part.
I agree with you, but I don't think that is the solution to replace Kai Havertz.
Exactly. I'm going to ask you one question that will lead to the conclusion that I need. If you answer this question, this is my last part. If you're going to improve your first 11 tomorrow, who's the player you want improvement on? From the midfield up. You have 6 players. I'm giving you 6 players to improve your team tomorrow. From the midfield up, who's the one to replace?
Okay. If we're going to improve our team, there would be 3 positions we look at: the midfield, the striker position, and another defender. The priority for that, depending on how you feel about the team, it changes. For me, right now, you guys don't know this, but we have an issue. With Thomas Partey being gone, we're gonna have to address the midfield. I think we have enough attacking players where we can prolong that until the summer and get a big striker like a Victor Osimhen. And then the secondary issue is defense, because with Timber and Tomiyasu's injury, we are very short in defense. So
you haven't answered the question, but fine. I gave you 6 players. You haven't answered the question, but fine.
I want to jump in here for a second. So, interestingly, I've seen a lot of people criticize Odegaard and say he's not playing in the same role as last year. These are his heat maps from last year and this year. I personally don't see much difference. I think he's pretty much in the same roles. I think Odegaard's issues this year has been that he hasn't been as good on the ball. Ironically, yesterday against Brighton, I thought some of his passing was out of this world. There was an outside. It is ridiculously good. Equally, though, I want to throw this to Nobbins. You've won a lot of titles recently. People keep saying Arsenal need more goals, and it's always great to score more goals. So you've got 40 goals this season, though, and are sitting 4th. Spurs are being looked at as prolific and deadly. They've got the same amount of goals as Arsenal on 35. Liverpool have 36, and Villa have 37. All right, is Arsenal's need for goals as desperate as people are making out, or is it nitpicking of finding something to like sort of hit them over the head with?
It's probably a lot of nitpicking. You're going to get that with any club, especially when they're at the top of the table. I don't know if the issue. I don't think the issue is goals in general. I think they have a lot of players who can score a lot of goals. You know, the Odegaard, Havertz, Martinelli, Saka, etc., etc. I think that just like touching on Mo's question, you know, if and a Gal touching it as well. I think if there was like a position to improve, and this goes into the goals point, I don't think there's an issue maybe in terms of like overall goals, but there might be an issue in terms of, you know, that I don't know if there's like a player who you sort of like hang your hat on and go, right, he's probably going to bag today, in the same way that you would do like Haaland, for example, or, you know, Salah for Liverpool. I think that Gabriel Jesus is a very good footballer. I personally think he's better as out wide. I think that a proper centre forwards, I know they're linked to like a Osman, whatever, someone who, you know, as I say, you can hang your hat and go, right, he's probably going to score today. He's going to get 20 a season, that sort of thing. So I don't know if it's an overall team issue, but I think that certainly if we're nitpicking and talk about specific areas to improve, Gabriel Jesus has never been that guy to get you however many Premier League goals. So that could definitely be a position, I think, as whoever that is, you know, Tony's been mentioned, or Seaman, whoever. So I hope that answers the question. I don't know what Gal thinks about that, but that would be my sort of take. I'm not, as I say, not having to go at Jesus, not saying he's a bad player, but if we're talking about the Haalands of this world and the Salahs of this world, I think that could be an area that you can definitely get an improvement in.
It's just